Good morning, Windy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Nice. It's also...
Happy day.
It's a very happy day. You know what? And I'm not even going to say it's a happy day. It's the day that was coming. It was the day that was forced. And it's nice to see that we've gone from the awakening to the awakening.
So is everybody hearing us?
Yes, I hope so. We want to make sure, since we had some weird audio issues yesterday.
Check.
No, because we're using your phone, and so you're kind of up against the wall there.
Yeah, well, Jason took the day off.
Oh my goodness!
I'm
getting beat up this morning.
Took the day. How many orders did you fill yesterday?
Almost 200.
Holy moly!
I know.
Gee whiz!
The pictures came out with all the boxes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did they go? Like what areas did you send all of our merch?
All over.
Really?
Seriously, yeah.
And everything is made. Someone sent me a thing saying the one box said made in Bangladesh.
Box?
Yeah.
Is it from a mug?
I don't know. They said,
Hey, Marilyn. Good morning, Virginia.
Yeah.
Virginia. Marilyn says hello from Virginia. You guys got to be so jazzed. Tampa, Florida. Hello. Yes, Kamala did say that, Dave. Kamala said that what happened today or what happened yesterday would predict 2022, 2024, and beyond. She's a klutz, but I'm going to go with her on this one. I agree. Gretchen, what a wonderful morning is correct. Isn't it nice?
I personally like watching the left
meltdown.
Media actually lose their collective shizzle.
Lori, thank you for giving us the thumbs up on the audio there from Sparta, Michigan, and welcome along.
Arizona.
So great. Yes, Tracy, you're right. Saving America, one state at a time. Loudoun County, Virginia. What's up, Vicky? Good for you. Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to your family.
Now, here's
Good for you.
Here's the thing that is unsettling, right? So Loudoun County, you would think would totally go for Youngkin. He still won Virginia, but lost Loudoun County. I don't get it. Like,
hello, Pittsburgh.
Well, right.
Hello, Pittsburgh. Land before time.
Yeah.
Let's vote in the same
Pittsburgh,
loser leadership. This is why places like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia are done. Done. This is not a land of prosperity and opportunity. It's done. I can't wait for my sons to get through school.
Yeah,
really.
Pittsburgh last night dropped the ball.
And it was predictable. And we had an absolutely fabulous, patriotic minority candidate in Tony Moreno. Nope.
But what I don't understand is, ask anyone about
Ed Gainey.
They can't tell you anything.
Nobody knows.
I can tell you some stuff that it's on, but they can't tell you anything he's about, for what.
He's a black guy. Oh, we must vote for that.
Yeah, that was the headline.
Rachel Levine, a transgender individual. Oh,
Pittsburgh elects their first black mayor.
You must.
Who cares?
Yeah. You know what you don't hear? You don't hear that Virginia elected its first black lieutenant governor, who's a Marine.
Hoorah.
Tony's a veteran. Tony's a 19, I believe, year police force veteran.
Hello?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hello? What do you want? Exactly. Do you want somebody
He's
who
not
knows?
a politician.
No.
He promised on this show to give people their job back if Allegheny County were to fire them for not getting vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. So. Hi, Carol. Great to have you along.
You watch the city's going to get dangerous. It's
Ghana?
Ghana? Well, it's already there, but this is my new favorite hoodie.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you for the love and the hearts and the stars. Hey, guys, remember to share the program. Facebook is doing its darndest to keep us under their thumb, unfortunately. It's amazing that up until about a month ago, we were getting 80, 90, 100 to 120,000 views a day. Now we're lucky if we get 30. It's preposterous.
Patricia said she just got a notification asking me if I'd like to receive less or no notifications from WBR since I haven't watched in a while. LOL. I watch every day.
Yeah. There you go.
I do have a number for you, my lady.
I did say hump day.
Yes, you did. Wimkin, you guys have almost 33 million views since May 17th.
33 million views since when?
I think our first show was May 17th. And then we had like 2 weeks off too in there. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I'm going to take credit for that.
You should. You should, 100%. Tammy likes the look. Is that who you were responding to with the hoodie?
I don't know.
The Awakening of America. I don't disagree. Yes. And Bruce, hello, cowboy. Facts.
Yeah, guys, if you have merch pictures, since some of you guys are starting to receive them now.
Take pictures. Put them up.
Yeah,
We'd
put
love
them in
to
the
see
thread.
We'd love to see them. Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can post thread pictures on the feed, but on a post,
Okay.
you can.
Okay.
Yeah, go back to the post and put them up. We'll see
I
them.
could be wrong. I don't really use Facebook.
Huh. Wonder why.
Well, put them on.
Maybe
Wimkin, too.
that's why you created a conservative social media platform called Wimkin. You know, that we're proud to partner with because censorship does not live there.
And Giuliani gave me an incredible endorsement. I'm so happy about.
I'm proud of you for that. Good for you. It's well deserved.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved.
Me. I'm not invited to this party.
You're the best executive content provider ever.
Yeah, executive content provider. Here we go.
Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
And good morning to you, America. It is a beautiful day. The awakening has been taken over by the awakening. And we are delighted to have you along on the Wendy Bell radio program. Thank you so much for being here with us. Feels good, doesn't it? It just feels good today. I'm going to remember this because I want to feel more of it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Where to begin? Where do we even start? The suspicions, the feeling inside all of us, as though we were like wounded animals from last year, prepared for the rug to be pulled out again. But Glenn Youngkin in Virginia managed to do something so big, so monumental, and it's only the beginning. A sweep of those offices in Virginia. Glenn Youngkin, Republican, the new governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. You have a new lieutenant governor, too, a United States Marine, a woman, the first African American. You have the first lieutenant governor, or rather attorney general, Cuban American. Oh, but you're racist. Remember that? This is all about your white supremacy speaking. And that, my friends, was completely debunked last night. It is a glorious feeling. You know, all of the reports that I've been reading are calling this a red wave, right? I'm going to come up with a different analogy for you today, and I believe it is very, very true. It's more like a red flood. And here's what I mean. And this is to you on the left. We told you this was coming. We warned you not to push. We gave you the weather reports. We saw the skies. They were darkening. We told you, prepare. You didn't listen. Instead, you pushed us down. You punched down on our people who are Americans. You locked up our senior citizens, our loved ones. You've masked our toddlers. You've cost us our jobs. You believe you have the power to force us to do something against our own free will. You've threatened us. You've mocked us. You've doxed us. You've censored us. You've silenced us. And we warned you. You didn't listen. You were too busy enjoying taking those hits from the chalice of power, rocking in your chair of greed, thinking that you could control how the rest of us should live. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever lived through a flood, this is why I mean this is a red flood. When I was in graduate school at the University of Missouri in the 1990s in the heartland, next to pastures, soybean farms, cornfields, cows, in the heartland of this country, where the heartbeat of America is strong and dependable, there was a great storm. The weather reports warned the people of Missouri, specifically where I was in Columbia, Missouri, which got just absolutely hammered. We had days' notice. Residents got together. They got sandbags. They formed lines, chains of humanity to move the sandbags to try to protect property, to try to preserve historic buildings. Sometimes when the water is that strong, all of your efforts don't work the way they should. And I was there on the ground when the levees broke. I watched what happened when farmers lost everything. I was in a chopper watching from above as homes swept away in the rising current of the rivers. And I watched as families came together to pick through the rubble, the ruins, to find a photo or a teddy bear, a memory of what was left. Floods are dangerous because they're silent in the middle of the night. The water comes in when you're not paying attention. And by the time you open the basement door and you hear the gurgling of your furnace pilot light being choked out by the water, it's too late. We warned you, leftists. We warned you not to push us. But you didn't listen. And then all of a sudden, when you decided it was time to pay attention, you opened that basement door and the water was at the top step. You tried to mess with our kids. You tried to manipulate the future of this country. You tried to demonize those of us who were warning you. We've got the maps. We can see what's coming. It's time to take shelter. Reverse course. Figure it out, because this is just the first wave. The eye of the storm will be here shortly, and you will be lulled, leftists, into a sense of security. You will feel as though you dodged a bullet. This was just a little painful. But wait. Once that eye moves across you, the outer bands are ferocious. The winds are merciless. And the water moves with such force, it destroys everything in its path. We are taking America back. In just 10 months, the destruction, your policies, your greed, your addiction to power, your narcissism, your failed rhetoric, your desire to divide the greatest nation this planet has ever and will ever know, the place where freedom reigns, you tried to squelch that. And we warned you. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to set our streets on fire. You don't want to give a pass to criminals who torch buildings and loot. You don't want to create a narrative of division, of racism. And you ought not label those who disagree with you. And now the storm has rolled in and you were ill prepared. I dare say the horizon looks good right now for us, ladies and gentlemen. But the work to be done has only just started. We are not awoke. We are awakened. And that means it's time for you to be that one. That one person who does that one thing that creates that one ripple effect that fundamentally changes course for America. They want to tell you that you don't matter. You're just a number. You're not in the elite crowd. They know what's best for you. Now just shut up and do as they say. Not anymore. If Virginia and fingers crossed New Jersey, who knows, and all these other races across the fruited plain are any indication to the left, we don't want what you're selling. But the tipping point, as I told you, was the singular thing that we hold most dear as a community. Our children, our future, our legacy. The choice is yours, liberals, leftists, Marxists, socialists, communists, progressives. Figure it out, change course, or you damn well better start sandbagging. Because you've just seen the beginning of a mighty and vicious storm. Dr. Darren Dubiak at Advanced Integrative Medical 360 offers something that is truly unique and life-changing. $199. How many of you have handbags that are well more than that? Or a firearm that cost you $500, right? These are great things. How about your health? How about your wellness? How about your happiness? For $199, you get an extensive blood workup, something that only is rivaled by the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, and you get yours for pennies on the dollar. And what that blood test tells you is everything about your body, your hormones, your biomarkers, what's going on inside you. And then Dr. Dubiak and Advanced Integrative Medical 360 help you come up with a plan. Yes, people lose 50, 100 pounds or more. Beyond that, they reclaim their life and their destinies. You can be next. 412-227-9255. IntegrativeMedical360.com. Check them out. When we come back, we've got all the sound. We've got all the facts. We've got the figures. We've got the information in one fell swoop that you could possibly want. And we're going to bring it to you right after this. This is the Wendy Bell Radio Program. There's a lot of work to be done.
What? Now what do I got to do?
Moron.
Wow.
Can't criticize all day.
If I don't, well, you had already started, so what? Probably 5 o'clock this morning you were starting?
I don't know. I'm usually not that with it in the morning to sass you too soon.
Oh, you find a way.
It's good to be on your toes.
You guys will like the liberals of the week. There's 2 of them this week.
My. Somebody's asking you to play Spirit in the Sky today in honor of Virginia. Sadly, if we play music, Facebook kiboshes us.
That's why you don't get
That's why you don't
Africa
have
every day.
Yeah, that's why you only get a little bit of it. Because there are certain rules.
Hey, someone liked my haircut. Yeah. Floyd, I just cut it all off. I wasn't going for a look. I did it myself, if you can't tell. No comment from Wendy. I gave her the opening.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, yes, you were.
I was
you know you were, and it took all of you not to see. Sure.
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to hit 1 and 2 here, all right? Because I think this is really great. And we're going to have you guys call. I'm interested in your thoughts. This is time for us to chat, to consider, to chew on the implications.
I have a question for everybody out there. How many of you went, oh, here we go again at 8 p.m. when Fairfax said, we're not done. We have to resubmit these. I know I lost my shizzle and said to my wife, I'm like, here we go. You had every day to get ready for this, and
there would have been an absolute revolution.
Yes.
If that had happened. And I think that they knew that if you wanted to create civil war, and I'm not talking about people going out and shooting and killing each other, but I'm talking about something really, really ugly, that would have been it. I did get notifications on both my iPad and my phone.
Well, aren't you
Shocking.
special? I did not.
You did not?
I did not.
You're just the administrator of the page. A new female Republican mayor of Glen Cove, New York. A new Republican in Kevin Brobson on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. A new Republican, Mike Carey, in Ohio's 15th congressional district. Texas, Republicans flip a Texas House seat. Minneapolis voters in the land of George Floyd reject Ilhan Omar's dangerous and ridiculous charter amendment to replace the Minneapolis Police Department with the Department of Public Safety. That'll solve it. Again and again and again. Changes made, but it's the beginning. And you leftists, I hope you're paying attention. These are not idle threats. These are promises. And yesterday, interesting to watch Rachel Maddow discussing with political analyst Larry, isn't it Larry Sabato? Listen to what she says in a stunned fashion as the results are coming in. Cut 1.
What do you think the story is here tonight thus far?
The story is, I'm not going to call it a blowout because we don't have the final numbers, but I will tell you somebody in high up in McAuliffe's camp who was there with McAuliffe put it this way to me about an hour ago. It's a bloodbath.
It's a bloodbath. Interesting. Larry Sabato, the founder and director of the Center for Politics, which promotes civic engagement and participation. Oh, we're civically engaged. And last night, people, not just conservatives, not just Republicans, not just common sense folk, independents, Democrats, came out against what Terry McAuliffe was selling. And the lies, the last minute, last ditch frenzied lies on the left in the media, wow. However, there was one glimmer of sanity, and it came from Van Jones, CNN. Pay attention to this amazing sound. Cut 2.
I think that the Democrats are coming across in ways that we don't recognize, that are annoying and offensive and seem out of touch in ways that I don't think show up in our feeds when we're looking at our kind of echo chamber. And I think that this is a message here.
Do you think? Out of touch? Where have you been? Goes back to my analogy of the storm. This is the perfect storm, okay? All of the elements there. Though it wasn't a surprise. This wasn't something that just appeared out of nowhere on the radar. It's only taken 10 months, a full calendar year if you consider where we've been since last November 3rd. We have a breaking point in this country where the lies and the greed and the control and the mandates and the edicts and the danger reach a tapping out point. That's where we are. It's astonishing to me that anyone encapsulated in any kind of a bubble doesn't see what's actually going on. See, you have to have conversations, my friends. You have to talk to those of us who disagree with you in order to get a pulse of this great country. But you're in your own cocoon, protected by sycophants who feel the same way or outraged by the same things that simply on the big scale and the big stage don't resonate with the United States of America. Your socialist wacko wokeism is destructive. You've stalled us. There's no moving forward under you. It's regressive. It's anger. It's hate. That's not America. We don't look at each other and fundamentally distrust one another. And I don't care what sign you have in your yard. You're an American. You're my neighbor. We got to remember that. And those of us who showed up yesterday, who voted for this red flood, as I'm going to call it, we're not just interested in saving this country for us. We care about you too. We want your kids to have the same opportunity as ours. I want to know what you think. How does this make you feel? Does this restore your faith in the system? Or do you believe they just let this one squeak by before they're going to pull a fast one next November? 833 WBR show. We've got listeners in all 50 states, all across the planet, watching, paying attention. Now is your time to talk. How does this make you feel? 833 WBR show. Yes, a referendum? Absolutely. Just the beginning. You better believe it. This is where the hard work begins. But I dare say, ladies and gentlemen, America is up for the job. Your calls next on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
I'm Dr. Rafferty. What do you...
Wendy Bell Radio. You and me? Where are you from? Wendy Bell Radio, your name? Where are you from? I'm sorry? Ours? Hold on. Wendy Bell Radio, your name?
You know what's interesting about all this too? I am relieved more than I am overjoyed. I am relieved because I fear that had Fairfax County, which in the later evening hours last night reported that it wasn't going to have all of its results for a while, I think we were all waiting for that sucker punch. And I think that would have been absolutely horrendous. I think that would have been very difficult for this country to come back from, because what we heard yesterday surprised both Brock and me. And it was the sentiment that overwhelmingly, in fact, it was unanimous. When the question was asked, do you believe the Virginia governor's race will be a referendum on Joe Biden? Every single caller said it was going to go the wrong way because it's rigged, that they had no faith in the system.
That surprised me. That I truly.
This is what they've
I
done.
didn't believe that.
This is what they've done.
But Newt Gingrich said something that was telling. He says, you have to win enough so they can't cheat.
Isn't that
It's
despicable?
sad, but I believe that they did enough. Glenn Youngkin, he outperformed Trump. Huge.
Think about the gap he had to overcome. Not just being down by so much a couple weeks ago, but by getting a 10-point deficit. I mean, Joe Biden won Virginia in November by 10 points, allegedly. So really, this is a 12-point victory for Glenn Youngkin. It's huge.
I think we're doing the right is doing a service to college kids right now. You're liberal right now, and you're on TikTok with your crazy views, but when you start paying taxes every day like everyone else, you're going to come to say thank you. In 10 years, you're going to say, you won't say it now, but you'll say it in 10 years. When you move out of your parents' basement and you start living on your own, you start paying your own taxes, you start your own business, you're going to realize real fast that the Democratic Party is not your friend. It's the prime example of they want to talk about climate change, and all these guys fly their private jets to tell you shouldn't have a car that has gasoline in it. Appreciate that.
Gail, you're correct. We must not let our guard down because you are dealing with the enemy. And the enemy isn't just on the left. I think the darker enemy is on the right. That's the part that scares me because they mingle around, masquerading as something they're not. These people have to be replaced. And by the way, we need Republicans in droves to be monitors and election volunteers. Droves. They absolutely have to be at the polling places. Always. Always.
And for the woman who said, I think it was a woman who said that Trump's behind all this. I'm not saying Trump's not working on it, but you know what? We need to get past it.
This isn't about one individual.
No, it's not.
That's not what this is about.
It's about a movement. You can call it the MAGA movement, or you can call it people just wanting their.
How about we want America back?
Right.
That's all we want.
I want the America back that says, go ahead, work hard, you'll achieve. That's what my parents told me.
Amen.
And I was either naive enough to believe them or they were right. I'm assuming they were right. So I want that America back. That doesn't mean it's Ronald Reagan's America, Donald Trump's America. I want that America back.
Yeah, Bill, the rhinos are more dangerous.
Yes, they are.
100%. Because you can see the left for what they are.
Yeah, we don't need Judases. We need more Jesuses and less Judases.
Yes, Biden did refuse the call from McAuliffe last night, reportedly.
It's past his pudding time.
And this is going to be interesting because you're going to see, what about all of these folks who voted for Joe Biden's reconciliation BS and the Build Back Better? So what are you going to do now? Because, by the way, party loyalty goes so far, but you want to save your own butt. That's what they want. They're going to distance themselves. In a Commonwealth, Joe Biden allegedly won last November by 10 points. And down about that, roughly 2 weeks ago, Glenn Youngkin manages to do something truly amazing. Literally, that's a 12-point victory. People on the stream are saying they're nervous about the slim margin of victory. That's the beginning. That's the beginning. We have to prove what we're all about. And sadly, the chorus of angry, race-baiting leftists, they have to be contended with. I want to hear what you guys think. We got Lisa in Maryland. Lisa, thank you for calling into the Wendy Bell radio program. Good morning.
Good morning. It's so great to talk to you. I listen to you every single day, and it just makes me feel like I'm not crazy. So, I'm not the only person out there that feels this way. I was actually really shocked yesterday when just trying to get some feedback, everybody felt the same way that I did. Like, we had this high hope that we're starting to see that this is not, even Democrats not working, like abandon ship, get out of here. But everybody felt like we were doomed from the start no matter what, and they were just going to cheat like they did last time. And going into next year, because I do believe that what we're seeing in Virginia is going to happen all over the country, but it reminds me of like when we had the recall Newsom, and I felt, really good about Elder, but it's like no matter how bad policies are and how much they are destroying the country, Democrats will sometimes continue to just vote Democrats. So I have high hopes because of what happened with Glenn Youngkin, but I'm still nervous.
I agree with you, and I think your point, Lisa, is well made, and I appreciate you listening as regularly as you do. You know what? And I agree with you. We're in Pittsburgh, in the land before time. We had a viable veteran police officer, minority candidate, Republican, going up against the same old song and dance garbage, and he got trounced. Lost, because people in Pittsburgh cannot think outside their Democrat voting cocoon. And you will continue to get what you get as California will continue to get what they get. And I say, you're going to see a lot of movement across the country. People who will come up with a plan and say, you know what, this state does not resonate with me anymore. These are not my values. These are not my people. I'm going somewhere that is. I do believe that. Appreciate the call. Let's get out to Trudy in Mount Pleasant in Pennsylvania. Hello, Trudy. Welcome.
Hi, Wendy. How are you doing?
I am well. I'm better today than I felt in a while, but I still have some trepidation, but some joy. Go ahead. What's going on?
Well, I just want to throw it out there from Westmoreland County here that I'm so proud to see that people actually went out to vote, and the Republicans persevered for a change here. Some of them long-standing, from the school board the whole way up. And I'm very proud of that. I am unfortunately not too happy about the outcome for the city of Pittsburgh. And I am concerned about that, mainly for the police officers, because I have a vested interest in them.
Right on. We all do. We all do.
I think there's going to be a nail in the coffin there where the police officers are concerned. And for the city, because I don't think they quite yet realize how adamant the police officers are against these mandates.
Amen.
Like that.
And you know what? And I love the call, Trudy. Thank you very much. And I would surmise from your passion that you have love in your heart for a police officer. I proudly have that sign in my yard. We back the blue. It's huge. It's metal. it lights up. I would make it bigger. These people have no idea who they're messing with. The wrong time, the wrong people, the wrong battle. We've stood up for our children. We need to stand up for these first responders who keep us safe. She's right. Let's get out to, let's see, Missy in Washington, D.C. Hi, Missy. Welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hey, Wendy. Thank you for everything you do. I listen to you every day at work.
Thank you.
And you're keeping me sane, so thank you. I live at the Beltway of Washington, D.C., about a mile outside the city. In Montgomery County, we like to call it the People's Republic of Montgomery County.
Right.
We still have an indoor mask mandate here. It was removed for 5 days and put back on again. So this victory last night in Virginia, which is, right across the river, is huge and just has restored our hope that we do have a say and that we're not going to get, it's not over. We can win these elections. I think there was a feeling that, at least among all my friends, that, are we ever going to win another election? Are they going to be able to cheat their way through every single one? And this was just, to me, and my friends, just huge. Restored hope.
I agree. And you know what? And I also understand your sentiment of sort of a cautious optimism there, because we're used to being crapped on. We're used to having our, things, the cheat work against us. We're used to having our pants down and not being active and mobile like the left is. So I understand what you're saying. For this moment, I think we'll take our bread and soak up some gravy and hope for the best here. I appreciate your calls and your kind words, Missy from DC. Thanks so much. Let's get out to Tony and Rankin. Tony, hello, good morning.
Hey, Wendy, how are you today?
I'm better than I was yesterday.
Good, me too. Hey, I love the new voicemail. When did that feature start?
Oh, so that's nice. Yeah, I changed it.
Yeah, it's much better than a constant busy signal or the phone
there you
ringing
go.
forever.
There you go.
But anyway, I don't know if Brock told you, but I'm working on getting you a challenge coin from Nevada for the chapter of Marines out there. I met a friend recently. He has a website. I'm going to try to get you one of those coins. They're absolutely beautiful.
Oh my goodness. You know how that means, what that means to me. Thank you.
Right. As far as Pittsburgh goes, I think we took maybe a very, very minor step forward as far as the mayor race goes. Would like to see Marino in there instead, but he really didn't have a chance. And as far as Virginia, it is a moral victory for a lot of us. The guy said basically verbatim that he's going to straighten a lot out in a short period of time there, and I hope that comes true.
I agree.
But thanks for everything you guys do. Really appreciate it, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so very much, Tony. Appreciate your voice. 833 WBR show. How do you feel? Do you feel a little bit better? Do you feel like they just kind of didn't cheat so much this time, but they're going to absolutely pull the rug out from under us next time? What do we have to do to ensure that doesn't happen? So I leave work yesterday. I've got about a 20-minute drive home. It's about 12:30. I run to the school, my polling place. And I'm angry at myself for this. I'm angry. I put on a mask to go inside to vote. Everybody had one on. I didn't even think about it. Just reached into my pocket and like habit, put on the stupid mask. It wasn't until several hours later when Joe got home. He got off. It was a half day, which is never a half day at the hospital for him. Half day's like 5 o'clock. Oh, you're home early. It's not 8. And he had gone to vote too. And he's like, would you believe I was the only person other than this one fellow who weren't wearing masks? And I was like, oh, darn it. You have choices. We heard last night in Virginia that Republican voters who were showing up not wearing masks were being turned away. They can't do that. I didn't have to reflexively reach into my pocket and pull out the crumpled old thing that I stuff in there on an emergency basis. See, what happened in Virginia yesterday, what we watched happen in races across the country yesterday, can happen on a much broader level with other issues. It doesn't have to be a political thing. It can be masks. We can say no. Did you guys see what happened yesterday in San Francisco? Children over the age of 5 have to be vaccinated. You want to go out to eat at night with your kids? Better show your vax passport. Are you kidding me? Folks, if I'm waking up in Northern California right now, I don't want to live there anymore. One of the most beautiful places with so much to see, so much culture, so much history going down a swirling toilet bowl. And the folks there tried to take their state back. You couldn't pay me for everything in the world to go back to California, and my family is there. And I love them. This is where we are. The pushback, though. This is why I talk about the power of one. Yesterday, my husband was the one. It was a small victory. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm a damn doctor. I wear a mask all day long. I'm vaccinated. I know more about this virus than all of you people in this room combined. All of you who are vaccinated as well, who choose to live in fear because you choose to not think. Learn to think in unthinking times. That's not these times, though. Let's get out to Kat in California, aforementioned California. Hello, my dear. Welcome.
That is why I called, because you mentioned California. I just had to tell you that a couple weeks ago I went to Long Beach to visit my uncle in a VA nursing home, outside, of course, and they were like, "Oh, you have to show us your card." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have one." And she said, "Oh, you must have forgotten." I said, "No, I don't have one. That's gross. Why would I do that? I've already had COVID." And she took my temperature, and she was like, "But we really need to see it." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you, sister, because I don't have one. So how are we going to make this happen?" And you know what? I had a nice visit with my uncle.
Amen.
So you just have to say no.
Good for you. I love the response too. I've had COVID. My natural immunity is somewhere over 10 times better than yours. Step aside, you edict pushing plebe, and let me see somebody I care about. Or this is going to probably not be good. I love it. I think you're great. Congratulations for the victory. And I think this is probably why I feel like such a dope for wearing my stupid mask yesterday.
I'm disappointed in you.
I know you are. You have every right to be, Brock.
Okay.
I think the first part of healing is admitting you have a problem. And I did have a problem yesterday with clarity. There you go. All right. I want to get to this. The Simkovich Concussion Institute. I am very selective about the people I talk about on this program. These are not people who are like, "I want to pay you money, so you just talk nicely about me." It's not how it works. I want to see what you do. I want to spend hours with you. I want to watch. I want to hear you talk. And I did that with the Simkovich Concussion Institute. When you have a passion to fix people's brains, that's not some small undertaking. When you look at people who've been scrambled from a traumatic brain injury or a concussion, that's not some small undertaking. That's big. And when you revolutionize a treatment that doesn't involve surgery, that heals people's brains and gives them their lives back, can you imagine the joy in that? That's what the Simkovich Concussion Institute does. 412-366-3700. No matter where you live, people fly in from all across America to see this guy for good reason. 412-366-3700. Simkovich, concussioninstitute.com. You know, I've got some sound I want to play for you coming up. It's interesting. A tale of two politicians. One is from the heart. One is staged, canned, and poorly delivered. You're going to love this. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program.
No one at my polling place. Now, I was at 12:30. I was the 25th person to vote, probably including the 5 people sitting there. Nobody was wearing masks.
You know, and I think the thing that made me angry when Joe came home and told me that, I was like, I talk about being the one. And in that brainless moment, I was not. And it's not to pick a fight with anybody.
Right.
It's not to get in your face. It's to say, I'm done with it.
I'm not defending you, but there's a lot of times after, we start at 4:30 in the morning. After work,
I get home and I'm like, I don't even know how I did that.
Right. I get home and I'm just like, a lot of times I'll go to the cigar shop where it's just a total decompression of like, I don't want to look at my phone. I don't want to talk to anyone.
Oh, I'll take a couple more calls.
Okay.
Can I surprise you guys?
Yesterday I went home and shot some people on Call of Duty.
Yes, you have a video game system, which is good. Feel free to call, you guys. I'm happy to take your calls. We'll have a few more minutes for it. So I really wanted it to be for you guys.
Take it up with the boss at the break.
Hopefully. I want to get a couple more calls
He
if we
needs
get
to
them.
talk to you at the break. Okay.
What about the break?
See, you weren't listening.
I tend not to listen too much. I'm very comfortable with that.
Ruth? Jason would like to speak with you in the hallway after.
Wow, this is very, very secretive. Is it going to hurt my feelings?
No, it's not going to hurt your feelings. Why do you always ask that? Toughen up, Buttercup.
Don't hurt my feelings.
I'll hurt your feelings.
Don't hurt my feelings.
Take the bat with you.
Oh, we've got Ruth in Virginia. Let's see what Ruth has to say. I love that we're getting calls, and we have consistently calls from all over.
Bomb pop? I heard him called something else. All right, here we go.
We are awakening in the great United States of America. And I'm excited to get your calls because it's important, especially for those of you waking up in Virginia. Something big has happened. It doesn't have to be the landslide. It's the great flood seeping in the darkness of night when nobody's paying attention because they're not paying attention to the people who have said enough. Enough is enough. We've had enough. And it's just the beginning. I'm excited to say hello to Ruth. She's calling from Virginia. Hello, Ruth. Welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hey, Wendy. It's a good day here. I don't have to move back.
We've got a lousy connection. That's terrible. I wonder if are you on a cell phone?
I am.
Let's see if
Can you hear me?
We'll give it a go. You stand still like this, and then we'll see if we get good connection.
Okay. I'm from Virginia, South Central Virginia. We were told here in South Central we always are dictated by Northern Virginia. And I want you to know we came out in groves yesterday. I was at the polls, steady stream, and elated to hear that we went from 88 to 90% here in South Central Virginia for Youngkin.
Outstanding. What do you think was the final straw, Ruth? What do you think was the final straw?
Well, I live in an extremely conservative area, which is a real blessing. However, I do think that Loudoun County, all over the news down here, made people really go and vote. I mean, we do vote here, but I mean, we really voted here. And we have to do that here to overcome Northern Virginia, which is liberal. And I praise God this morning.
I give him all the glory for the win last night. And not only that, all of the wins that have the delegates have gone our way too. We're up by 1 now.
That's awesome.
So, yes, it is awesome. It means I don't have to move out of the state because my husband just retired, and we said, you know what? We don't win this. We might be looking at moving somewhere else.
I'm telling you what, Ruth, it's not hyperbole. This isn't just some fly-by-night suggestion. So many people are like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to be in an area that doesn't subscribe to my beliefs. And I know that's where I am. So I feel you. Thanks for the call. Let's get out to Rhonda in Oregon. Hi, Rhonda. Thanks for calling in. Good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to say yesterday I called in and I was a -1 thinking, oh, this is going to get cheated. I am a +10 right now and hoping it comes to Oregon.
Yes. Now, that's a fact. You're in an area that is definitely blue, blue, blue. Who knows? Maybe there's a miracle out there. I appreciate that, Rhonda. Thanks so much. You know what? Here's the thing. And the job is just beginning. And here's what I mean. We have to ensure that we know what happened last November 3rd. It is vital that we don't brush aside the hard work, the money spent, the volunteer hours given, the transparency that was offered to all of us in Maricopa County, Arizona. One county was that one person that said, you know what, we got to get to the bottom of this. This has to happen across America in contested environments where the vote count stopped mysteriously in the middle of the night because of a water main break or because of electrical issues or because everybody's so tired we've got to go home. Until that situation is figured out, until we know what really happened, we're still not going to be confident. It's going to take years for us to feel that our elections have not been compromised. I blame all of you corrupt leftists and Republicans alike who are down with that. I have some sound, and I think because I've gone a little bit long in this segment, I want to play it for you. I want you to hear what I believe is a tale of two Americans. You know, most people who run for office, in my mind, shouldn't feel as though this is what they want to do. They should feel they are obligated to do it, that they have something fundamental to offer that is not being offered to their constituents or to their people in general. And then there are those who really like the idea of being in power, of someone celebrity status. There's a difference, and you're going to hear it. It is stark. It is obvious. And we need to choose better, weeding out those who want what they believe is owed them. Hillary Clinton, she was owed it. She stood next to that louse all that time. It was her turn. She deserved it. No, it should be about what America deserves, and we should demand only the best. You're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program. Back right after this. Do you know where I got that before? Doug Mastriano, our great senator here in Pennsylvania, said he didn't want to become a senator. He had no plans to run for office. He felt that it was his duty to do so because he needed to do what was right. That's the kind of leader I want. Do you want to meet me in my office? Sure. Okay.
Take the bat. Take the bat. Yeah. why did the trolls come here? They can't help themselves. And to be honest with you, I love it. It's the fact that people just feel they have to listen. It's actually a compliment when trolls are here. I know you guys might not see it that way, but it's easy to get people to listen to you who agree with you. It's harder to get people to listen to you, and they may get paid, Brian. It's harder to get people to listen to you when they disagree with you. So I think it's a one of the most sincere compliments you can get. Yeah, Bruce, I wasn't in to
You
that
weren't
meeting.
invited to the powwow?
To that meeting, I was not invited.
You're on a need-to-know basis.
Wow. I don't block the trolls. So they can troll all they want. That's fine.
I don't even pay attention. I mean, by and large.
Like I said, it's a compliment to us.
You're here day after day, and I love that you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. That you disagree with me so much. I will tell you, that's what happened to Rush Limbaugh. I would never in a million years equate anything in my being to Rush Limbaugh. He was dynamite. I loved him. I loved what he did for talk radio. But what he did is he got people angry, and they started being trolls. They had to listen to what he was saying because it made them so angry. And then they listened for so long that they started listening and hearing what he was saying. And then over time, they changed their thinking. They changed the paradigm of how they saw the world and politics and their role in the world. And they became Rush babies. Everybody had a story. So for those of you who like to be triggered, welcome home. We're glad you're here. And I mean that in all sincerity. You're welcome to be here. We have very exciting news.
We do?
We do.
Oh, was this discussed in the meeting that I wasn't involved with?
True. So we have put up something on the website, and there is a limited number. Please never obviously feel obligated to buy anything. I know you don't. I just want to say this. They are spectacular. There are 100 of them. We believe in a 6 to 8 week turnaround because each one is handmade. Okay? It takes more than an hour to make each one. Hand dipped, sanded, shellacked, or whatever. Individual one-on-one with each one. It's not a machine made, American made in Maine. We're doing a limited number to ensure that they come here before Christmas. The Wendy Bell Radio tumbler. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful.
No.
So we're just putting that out there. Wendy Bell Radio Network app.
Just text.
You can go there, check them out. They're I'm not going to tell you they're cheap. This is not something cheap. This is not some crappy, leave in the yard after you mow the grass kind of thing. These are nice. And there is a limited number. So what we're trying to do is be reasonable with our designs. Jason has been working on this for a while. He has shopped around to a whole variety of vendors. He really liked the folks in Maine the most. Again, everything is made in the United States, all of our stuff.
You kind of have to hurry. Text it.
So we're going to put a picture up.
If Brock has time.
If Brock has time, he's going to put a picture up.
He's got 120 seconds.
They're really lovely. And they're a good size.
20 ounces.
20 ounces.
If Jason would have just emailed
That'll
me.
keep my beer cold.
Or texted me.
So we just wanted to put that out there, all right? WBR keychains. You know what? Like my son made, right? I'm trying. I wanted him to make them, but he has to make them in high school, and I don't think they want him to do that.
Text it to me. Text it to me. You'll probably see them in the next break because people aren't being very working with me here.
I literally just got these. So
He's lying.
I'm not lying.
And for all the people who have emailed me and told me about different places to buy stuff, the hardest thing you have to understand is it's not where we're getting it. It's not someone else doing the shipping or anything like that. It's finding things made in America. So a lot of these places you send me, it's not that we can't ship. We could go get
But they're from
t-shirts made
China.
in Bangladesh too. But, you know, that's the problem.
Now that I saw a news report this morning that cargo thefts are up 40%.
Oh, yeah. You seen the pictures of them looting the trains in Missouri?
All right, I'll have those pictures to show you next break.
Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Good morning, America, and thank you for tuning in once again to your one-stop shop for common sense conservatism, pro-America, pro-police, pro-military, pro-gun programming. Oh, yes, wrapped up in one curly-haired conservative. There you go. It's great to have you along for the ride. Hello to each of you. You know what's amazing to me as we look over the last 24 hours, and certainly this red flood, as we've called it, seeping in the basements, slipping through the cracks of the foundation, as leftists have not been paying attention to us. It's amazing that anyone on the left would be surprised by the pushback. We fundamentally have to figure out what is wrong with our elections. Are the machines corrupt? I say yes. Were they connected to the internet? We know yes. Is there proof that there was outside access from computers in foreign countries the evening of November 3rd? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 month ago or 1 year ago today is the 3rd, isn't it? All these days kind of mesh together after a while. We witnessed, I believe, the greatest threat to our country. It's not racism. It's not Donald Trump. It's not wokeism. It's not critical race theory. It is the fundamental undermining of Americans' trust. And here's a little clue to anyone out there who wants to continue with the charade, the false narrative, the blatant BS of the big lie. It's no lie. There's a great way to prove us wrong. Open the books. Give us access. Don't hold back when you're subpoenaed. Be transparent. Remember those days where you talked about transparency? You know you've been caught. You know we have the experts. People like Joe Von Hutton Pulitzer, who's a forensic expert with paper, who can examine the folds or a piece of paper's fibers and tell you how many times it's been folded. You didn't even try to make it hard for us to find out. It was so obnoxiously sloppy, and you're so used to getting away with it. That's why we're divided, not because we're racist or not because you are, but because you cheat, and you lie, and you steal, and you deflect, and you deny, and you point fingers elsewhere, and the greatest demon is Donald Trump. We're not talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about something bigger. It's called America. And because of you and your greed and your corruption, your willingness to do something so fundamentally un-American, you've created a fissure in this country that I think is going to take generations to recover from. And then on top of that, the despicability of using a virus, purposely using a virus to push the scheme. Have you no shame? Do you have no conscience? Do you not wake up in the morning and look in the mirror? Or are you that rabid? Are you that deluded? Are you that hungry that you're willing to throw away what the men and women who came before us died to give us? Are you willing to throw away what the men and women every day who put on their police officer uniforms? Who put their lives on the line every day? Who see the darkest parts of our culture? Are you willing to throw that away? Our safety? You're willing to introduce disgusting commentaries into our schools, pornography? To normalize transgenderism and to tell you and your little nuclear family that the Bible somehow is wrong, but reading sex about sodomy and oral sex is appropriate in elementary school? You're going to try to tell us that? No. And just because you refuse to look at the data, the proof, the facts about what we know, doesn't erase that proof, that data, and that those facts exist. There will be a day of reckoning. That, my friends, will be the wave. That will be a tsunami. It will unseat so many people. And I dare say it will absolutely destroy any hope of a legacy for the Biden family, if they think they have one. That day is brewing. That storm is out there. It's on the radar. That is the fight we have to go for. Until we know exactly what happened, exactly who allowed it to happen, who ordered the votes to stop being counted, who pulled out the suitcases and brought out all of those ballots, who lied about it, who forced the electors through, who was planted at the Capitol on January 6th, who denied the frantic call for backups, who hid the video. Until you know all the details, this criminality, this depravity will continue like a cancer. It has metastasized, and it's reached down into our local communities. I want to play these clips for you. One, Glenn Youngkin last night, off the cuff, joyful, breathing in America. Listen if you listen on the radio, watch on the live stream if you're watching on video. Breathe in the energy and the feeling. And then we're going to juxtapose that with a different view. Go.
From the farms of the Shenandoah Valley to the docks and shipyards of Hampton Roads, to the coal fields in Southwest Virginia, to the banks of the James River, to the memorials in Arlington National Cemetery. This is our Virginia to build together, and we are going to go to work on day one.
This is ours. It is we, the people. This is our community. This is our shared environment, not me. Now, I want to juxtapose that with Josh Shapiro, part of the Democrat machine here in Pennsylvania, who thinks he's going to be the next governor here because, you know, in the land before time, you can bank on that. I dare say, Josh, you'd best be very careful because America is paying attention and Pennsylvania is on high alert. This is Josh Shapiro, the current Attorney General of this state, on a stump speech last night. Watch and listen. Very different.
I don't know about you, I am sick and tired of hearing that we're Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and Alabama in the middle. That is simply not true. That is not who we are. We are one Pennsylvania, bound together by a set of common challenges and shared opportunities. We are one Pennsylvania, resting on a rich history of founding our democracy and then working together to perfect it over the years. And together, we can prove the critics and the cynics wrong. We can take on those big fights, and we can come together.
Do you feel the difference? You don't even have to see it to know that Shapiro is reading. There's no love in his heart. This isn't something that touches his soul. He's not dripping with dedication, with service, with gratitude, with appreciation, with a desire to do something magnanimous. He doesn't feel that. He feels it's his time. He's entitled. I've been promised this. Therefore, I'm going to go out and awkwardly tell you that we are better and stronger together. Don't you feel the energy and the enthusiasm? It's the same lack of authenticity in Terry McAuliffe's words. It's the same thing. What do you want? Canned cage speeches that tap into all of those points that the pollsters say people care about? Or do you want that person who says, this is the last thing I want to drag my family through. This is going to be a bear. It's going to be a year of the freaking media sniffing up my skirt, going through everything they can, trying to destroy me. I'm going to put my life on the line. I'm going to put the sanity of my family on the line because I believe in this great state. And I am here to make a difference. Do you hear the difference? I sure do. Look, in life, we know that things happen. We get hurt. Our kids get hurt. We get in accidents. We need medical care. The staggering, crippling cost of medical care, even if you have insurance, is so ridiculous that you need an expert on your side who can sit down with you and say, okay, what's wrong with you? What are your health issues? What could come down the road? What kind of prescriptions are you on? What kind of coverage is best for you, your family, or your business? Now, how can I save you the most money so that you don't get buried by medical debt? That man is a friend of mine, and his name is Tom Yakupin. He represents the New Era Health brand of insurance, New Era Health plans. He knows he can save you between 25, 50%, even more on your monthly premiums. No more crippling copays. You shouldn't be afraid to take your medicine because you can't afford it. You need a guy on your team who's an expert and it's Tom Yakupin. Call him today. Here's the number, 724-230-4500. 724-230-4500. Get a free quote online by going to newerahealthplans.com. When we come back, so you heard the tale of two politicians. I want you to hear what it sounds like when a leftist on the media side, well, that's an oxymoron, absolutely loses her shizzle. Sometimes it's a little delicious. We've got it for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
All right, so I promised you I'd show you the mugs, or the tumblers in this break. So here's the front of it. And then here is the back of them.
So guys, one is a 20-ounce skinny, which obviously I think you can tell, and then the other one is a 20-ounce regular. Now, the black solid one is also available in solid red and also solid blue, so it'll kind of match the logo better, but we wanted to give you guys options. And we are going to allow a back order, but it just might add to the time, so I know Wendy said 100. That's all we're doing on pre-order right now, so I think we're almost out of it already.
Yeah, I mean, I literally got a text message while you were on the air asking for me to order a tumbler.
You what?
I got a text message on the air asking for me to order her a tumbler.
Well, you know what? Our stuff isn't for everybody, and please don't feel as though we expect you guys to do anything. Can I talk quickly about my friends at Ireland Contracting, or did you have something you wanted to say?
No, you go ahead.
Do you mind?
No, they're A+ rated by the Wendy Bell Radio Show. And their bourbon roofing is fabulous.
I never thought that I would care about the color
I
of
saw
somebody,
that and liked it.
Right? I never thought I'd really pay attention until my neighbors across the street put on a beautiful new slate roof. I had no idea how much money that cost. But when you see the exterior of a home and it's got a beautiful roof on it, you can't stop. You can't help but stop and pay attention to it. And Ireland Contracting, which is an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred dealer, which means they're the top 1% of all of Owens Corning dealers, is selling this Owens Corning roofing called Bourbon. It's exquisite. If you have an exterior project to your house, roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, windows, skylights, please call our friends at Ireland Contracting. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Angie's List, Guild Quality, and the Wendy Bell Radio program. Love Gary and Diane Ireland. Thank you for what you do for us on the show. We appreciate it.
Can I just say, too, real quick, and I was going to jump in, but you were on a roll. Josh Shapiro was like the majority of people that go to church. They go through the motions. He seemed like he was going through the motions in that speech. And that you have the people who are into it, then you have the people who are like, I'm here because I need to,
right.
My wife dragged me here.
You know, I love having this watch that barks at me when it sees that I haven't been active enough. And it says, let's get moving. And I'm like, well, I have
Is
a
that why you ran out of the studio?
I have a sedentary job. There's only so much I can do with this. I'm sorry, Garmin watch.
Is that why you ran out of the studio?
No, I was throwing out the mud coffee that I made.
Oh.
Just note to self, don't do 4 scoops, okay? 3 is sufficient. That's all you need to know. Brock brought up an excellent point during the commercial break. And when we listen to the difference in a Glenn Youngkin, obviously, who's elated because a hard-fought campaign had come through for him, that he felt like he could do the work that he had promised to do. Will he do a good job? I hope so. I mean, we can only hope so. And then you juxtapose that with a Josh Shapiro, the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, whose claim to fame was identifying and kind of blowing the lid off the Catholic priest sex abuse scandal. So I scratch my head. And while I say that's good, that we know that there's this deep, dark secret in the church, what's being done about it? It's one thing to have the headline, what are you doing for all of us? And then juxtaposing Youngkin with Shapiro, as Shapiro sounds just canned, like somebody else wrote it for him. And he's just got to be up there to deliver it. If you're running for the highest office in your particular state or commonwealth, do you really think you need a teleprompter? Do you need notes? Do you need note cards? Or do you know because it's in the fiber of your being? Joe Biden, for God's sakes, can't even sit down with Vladimir Putin and pretend to have some kind of a meeting with him without having note cards, for crying out loud. There's a reason the man cannot speak off the cuff and doesn't take questions. It's all Weekend at Bernie's. They wheel him out on the dolly, pretend that he's got some semblance of a pulse. He presents the outward figment of the alleged president of the United States that was completely vacuous and there's nothing going on. You know, it's like looking at a beautiful cake and you go in and the frosting looks so creamy and kind of buttery and sweet. And then you look at it and you realize it's a prop. It's styrofoam. There's nothing to it. And if you bit into it, it would be dry and it would crumble in your mouth. That's our government right now. It's a complete show. Can you imagine, honest to God, can you imagine if Pete Buttigieg had managed to muster more than 1% of any kind of primary vote to become president of the United States, and he and his husband then adopted 2 newborns? Would he just peace out and just 86 the job for a while, saying that he just needed to go home and take about 12 weeks off? Because he's doing that now, and it's okay now. Look at what they've been pushing. It's all fluff. It's the meringue analogy I have, that fluffy meringue. If the light hits it just right, it kind of glistens like snow before anybody's touched it as the sun sparkles on it. And it jiggles with this enticing movement and it draws you in. And then you look at it and you realize it's on top of excrement. There's nothing about it that's worthwhile. It's a show. I want you to hear this. I don't have time. I don't have time for it. Dang it. I get so impassioned.
I would say hold on, because they're going to want to hear this. This lady went triggered.
Right. So is this the one that you found? Because I found multiple of hers. But this is yours, isn't it?
I don't know if this is mine. I think this is yours, but she's...
Yeah. Okay.
She's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, if you know what I mean.
She is Nicole Wallace from MSNBC. If you have not seen somebody in real time unravel, lose it all, this is it. And remember, when you're going to hear this on the flip side of this break, remember the trifecta. This isn't the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This is called racism, Trump, and January 6th. It's all they have. And Nicole Wallace, aw, bless her heart. We'll play that for you. Coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio program. We got to have fun.
Okay, Miss Wendy, I need to talk. Alvin, I was not taking a shot at anyone in the church. Anyone who has gone to church, including myself, realizes there are people there out of obligation and feel they have to be there. Mm-hmm. And there are people who are there for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. Josh Shapiro does not look like he's doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
He's following along the sermon book. He's singing all the songs, and he's just there.
Right.
So no one's taking shot at people with faith.
But you know what? And this is the same thing that I spoke of. And don't get embroiled in people responding in a visceral fashion.
That wasn't visceral. It just
no. So this is the. I just totally lost it. I'm 50. I'm 51. This is why I found a jar of peanuts in the refrigerator. I'm like, why are peanuts in here? I was probably eating them, and I don't know. I did.
Your keys are in the freezer.
No, I did find Kleenex in the refrigerator too once. So we've got issues. Unlike Joe Biden, I'll have mine investigated though.
Well, you do have that Nancy Pelosi size fridge.
But mine doesn't have designer ice cream.
I don't know.
I splurge. Oh God.
Not invited to enjoy ice cream at Wendy's house. Yes.
I hate you. Now I'm so angry because I was trying to figure out what I was going to say to you. Dang it.
And I'm sure it was delicious.
My favorite is Haagen-Dazs peanut butter and chocolate, if you wanted to know.
I didn't.
That's really good.
Do you want to know what my favorite is?
No.
Okay.
Have you ever had a Leona's ice cream sandwich?
I had them with you and I had them with your boys.
Wow.
That's right.
Look at how
after we
look
went
how,
golfing.
like venomous.
Well, it was
and
close. It was your kids.
Oh, so by all means, it must have been me because of the DNA connection. By default, I was there. Got it.
Hey, if I dropped a piece of hair at the scene, it might come back. One of their pieces of hair at the scene, it might come back to you. So
That
close
you brought
enough.
Up hair as I sit here and twirl mine. Hair's so gross.
No, that's what they served at D's, wasn't it?
Hair?
No, those
Leona ice cream sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't wait for them to open back up.
I know. Are you taking us to lunch there after?
Sure. One of these days.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to me I'm not the one who owes lunch. Oh.
I heard that.
He does.
He said that the
Tomorrow.
hashtag Fire Fauci would basically, and all of his scandals involving puppies and chimps. And by the way, babies with AIDS back in the 80s.
Listen, Jason's a rookie at
That
this.
it would do him in.
Jason's a rookie. We sort of did take advantage of him.
You flexed him a solid by giving him till last Friday at midnight.
Right. But I still knew. Listen, we've been doing this media thing long enough that we truly get how it works. And poor Jason, bless his heart. Bless his heart. He still thinks the media and the government's going to do the right thing.
Oh my God, do I?
Yeah,
That is not true.
You took a bad bet.
I knew it immediately when I took it too. I said, "Wait a minute, there's not even."
And I'm not pushing the mugs that we put up there, but if you try to order and get a back ordered, it may add a week to the delivery. So,
Have you sold any tumblers?
We probably only have about 10 left.
What?
I'm not even kidding.
You sold 90 in that brief time? That was one commercial break. What? One segment. What?
Someone said they got off the live stream to order it, which I do love.
What?
Yes, thank
That's
you.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Glenn. You know, my good friend Tressa gave me this top. I wear it regularly, and I don't care that people are like, "You wear the same clothes." I'm like, well, yeah, that's true.
I'm going to try to wear this once a week for the next 3 years.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
It gets a little cool in here, so that's good. Even in the summertime months.
Yeah, I might not wear it in the summertime.
Okay, well.
I might have to get
You'll
a
have
Wendy
to make
Bell
those
shirt.
decisions. That's fine.
I'll have to get a Wendy Bell.
All right, let's see what number 9 is.
Good question. Jason, do they have lids?
Oh yeah, lids and straws come with.
Oh, straws too.
Wow, well, you didn't
Look
say
out.
that.
They mean business at the Wendy Bell
Does
radio
it keep things
store.
warm and cold?
Yes, stainless steel, hot and cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my beer that I could come here drinking beer and nobody would know it at 9 a.m. Now, like that would say I have a problem.
No one knows you drink a beer.
Not microwave them because they are steel. They don't look like it because of all the art and stuff that's put into it. But,
I
Which
just
one
want to
handmade?
say, what time did we announce that? 10 o'clock, right? 10
Yeah.
something? after you guys met at 10:05, I got a text. Can I get one?
Who's that?
Guess.
Kate.
Yes.
Aw, Kate deserves one.
Put it on the company check.
There you go.
Oh, we need to discuss. I need a raise now that I have to order one.
Your wife is lovely. She deserves it and more. She deals with you.
Wow, that's hurtful.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program, America. Delighted to have you listening from across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea. Hello, welcome home. This is common sense conservatism right here. You know, sometimes it is a little fun to listen to the deranged media lose it all, and it's also interesting to so easily watch the strategy, what they've been beating, the dead horse. I want you to hear a series of sound bites. This is going to be Nicole Wallace, cut number 9. I want you to hear they are clinging when you've got nothing to cling to, when everything your party is doing sucks, when your leadership is abominable, okay? As John Kennedy, senator from Louisiana, says, when it looks like everybody's smoking the magic lettuce, except you, right? No wonder you've got to beat the dead horse of Donald Trump racism in January 6th. It's all you've got. I want you to hear how triggered, how relentless Nicole Wallace from MSNBC is. Cut 9, go.
I think we know the answer to some of this. I watched Glenn Youngkin's interviews on Fox News, and he did nothing but he did not. I mean, he worshipped at the altar of Donald Trump on Fox News. He flew an insurrection flag at his rallies. He simply didn't. He played dumb about a Zoom rally. He did not really put much distance between himself and Donald Trump on the big lie or the deadly insurrection in which police officers were maimed by flagpoles. So I think that the real ominous thing is that critical race theory, which isn't real, turned the suburbs 15 points to the Trump insurrection endorsed Republican. What do Democrats do about that?
I mean, there's so much there. I could transcribe this. We could do a whole hour. Where are the fact checkers? Police officers on January 6th were maimed with flagpoles. The deadly insurrection, she said. The only way it was deadly was when a Capitol police officer shot and killed an unarmed MAGA hat wearing Air Force veteran. That's the deadly insurrection, Nicole, in the event that you've forgotten. A Capitol police officer, we should note, of course, who was exonerated without having any kind of hearing or true investigation. Interesting how that works. Glenn Youngkin worships at the altar of Donald Trump. Really? Have you guys seen these guys together a lot? Are you connecting the dots? Or do you just see a dude who's a dad, who's a business owner, who's like, you know, I'm not for kids getting raped in bathrooms. I'm not down with critical race theory. And then the lie, it is not being taught in our schools. In fact, this is a very interesting montage. I want to go to cut number 10, Brock. Anytime someone strikes the nerve of truth with these people, there is a concerted effort to get out the talking points. Who the person is, who the central nervous system is that pumps these messages down the arteries, the blood vessels of communication to other leftists in the media. I don't know. Is it the Associated Press? Is it George Soros? Is it Bill Gates, who owns a hell of a lot of media? I don't know. But somebody is doing it, because you cannot have the same talking points like that. And they do. So the left is now saying that Glenn Youngkin erroneously alleged that in Virginia schools, critical race theory is currently being taught. We have proof that it is, and I will get to that. Let's not let the facts get in the way of their fiction that CRT is not being taught. Instead, let's spend a minute and listen to the narrative that they tried in the last hour to push on voters. Listen.
This election has become the latest to weaponize something called critical race theory. Critical race theory is it's become the new dog whistle, except you can actually hear it, so it's not really a dog whistle.
Yeah, let's start there. Critical race theory not taught in Virginia schools. But it does show that Republicans are good. It's dishonest. It's not a good faith argument, but they are talented at branding. They're talented at making an election about certain issues, even if they don't have any basis in reality.
One key issue for Youngkin, opposition to the teaching of critical race theory in schools. The curriculum is not taught in Virginia schools, and McAuliffe has called the tactic a racist dog whistle.
What he calls critical race theory, even though it's not taught in Virginia schools.
And the notion that critical race theory is being taught in Virginia classrooms. A lot of these voters, Chris, weren't able to exactly articulate what that means.
A lot of them believe that critical race theory is being taught in the schools. They don't like that, but it's really not on the curriculum in Virginia.
Critical race theory that is not taught in public schools in Virginia.
But critical race theory is not taught in Virginia K through 12 schools.
Critical race theory, as we know, isn't taught in Virginia schools.
There's no evidence it's been taught in public schools.
It is not taught in any Virginia high school.
It's not taught in public schools.
This is a post-factual error. It doesn't matter that it isn't taught in Virginia schools. It's this generalized attitude that whites are being put upon, and we've got to do something about it, we being white voters.
Wow. Now that is either ridiculously coincidental that everybody just wakes up and they're like, you know what? I think we should do this story. Let's all do that now. There is no, well, the only problem with that is there's absolutely critical race theory, and it's on the Department of Education website in Virginia, you complete lying, lackey losers. What do you think? We're just making this up? Parents are just ticked off. They're like, well, we lost last November. Let's make something up. It's called critical race theory. No, we're so on to you. It's brilliant. I love blowing these morons out of the water. Virginia Department of Education website promotes CRT despite McAuliffe and hack media claiming it's never been taught there. Let's look into this. Well, yes, it does appear on their website. On the Virginia Department of Education website, several examples of the department promoting critical race theory can be found, including, ladies and gentlemen, and this is proof it's nothing new. This isn't something that just vaporized a few weeks ago, including a presentation from 2015 when Terry McAuliffe was governor that encourages teachers to, quote, embrace critical race theory to, in order to, quote, re-engineer attitudes and belief systems. If that's not critical race theory, I don't know what the hell is. Like literally, if you're the reporter on a story, okay, and I was a television news person for 23 years. If a news director, general manager, assignment editor, or producer gave me something and said, we want you to report this way, my exact response would have been, well, you can suck it. Why? Because I have ethics. Because I believe in objectivity. Because I believe in searching out a story, finding out proof. One side, the other side, what is going on here? I'm not going to just go out and blindly report that critical race theory has never been taught. I'm going to dig. Alas, why nobody trusts the media. Additionally, this says, Superintendent Memo 050-19 can be found on the Department of Education in Virginia website from February 2019, promoting both critical race theory and the idea of white fragility. Wow, these are awesome subjects to be teaching kids as they go through, those hormonal, prepubescent, and puberty-laden years where everything is a disaster. We should burden them with the ideas of white fragility and superiority and racism. Hell, let's just call them all slave owners while we're at it. That'll work well. So while your media, your rabid leftist media, is trying to tell you it's never been taught here, I don't know what he's talking about. Lie. Is critical race theory taught in K through 12 schools? Well, interesting. The National Education Association says yes, and that it should be. What? An even bigger branch of education malfunction than the Virginia Department of Education? This would be the National Education Association. Quote, it is reasonable and appropriate for curriculum to be informed by academic frameworks for understanding and interpreting the impact of the past on current society, including critical race theory. Consistent with its defense of CRT, the NEA will also provide a study, quote, that critiques empire, white supremacy, anti-blackness, anti-indigeneity, I don't even know if I said that right, racism, patriarchy, capitalism, ableism. We're making up crap instead of teaching basic reading skills to our kids. Ableism, anthropocentrism, and other forms of power and oppression at the intersections of our society. The notion that critical race theory is not actively being taught in a vast majority of schools in the country, including those in Virginia, is an outright lie, you leftist media hacks. They wonder why is nobody paying attention to us anymore? Huh. I told you. Wrong time. Wrong people. Wrong fight. Don't mess with our kids. Do you hear that red wave? The waters are rising. She goes on, though. I think clip number 6 is a good one. We just labeled this one triggered. Let's see what Nicole Wallace from MSNBC has to say now.
I guess I don't want to be the skunk at the garden party, but I think there's a sense among Republicans that what Youngkin did was where Trump ran as a guy who was going to ban all Muslims, Mexicans were rapists and murderers, black people came from bleep-hole countries. He was such an uncouth and flagrant, debased. There was no conversation about race under him. It was beneath even people who said they voted for him.
You Trump people, you're so racist. How dare you vote in the first black lieutenant governor and the first Cuban American governor or attorney general in Virginia? That is so racist. They can't get enough. Trump. I wonder what if he wakes up in the morning and if he looks at all of the headlines and he just goes, oh my heavens, you guys have dropped the ball. Instead of doing anything meaningful or objective or honest or helpful to lift people up, you're mired in garbage and lies. And that's not even the worst of it, sadly. Of course, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but this is my opportunity to tell you about Dr. Richard Rafferty at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. I love somebody who's got a bulging, herniated disc, and the feeling in their fingers is gone. It's so uncomfortable. This is a call for Dr. Richard Rafferty. Before you are told you need to have surgery to fix that, you need to ask the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh for an appointment. Costs you nothing. He'll sit down with you. He'll look at your scans. He'll tell you if he can help you. It won't cost you a penny. You could be a candidate for intra-disc nutrosis. Not only does your pain go away, not only does the finger feeling come back, your discs heal. He heals your body. 98% successful. non-surgical. Boom. What's the number? 412-906-9600. 412-906-9600. It is intradisc neutrosis, but it's PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. I'll get it out. All right, when we come back, Van Jones. Sometimes he's the gift that keeps on giving. This particular instance, oh yeah, slam dunk, absolutely. Don't miss it. Coming up on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
Battle out of this.
I already got it out.
Wow.
I was ready to rock and roll. I forgot to play Winsome Sears. I got to play her.
You guys, I can't believe how many of these mugs you guys have responded to. That's crazy. It's
You mean the tumblers or the mug?
The tumblers.
Are they sold out? Is it sold out?
You know what? All of it.
Yeah. That's so. I don't know if I express it enough to you guys.
I don't think we can, to be honest with you.
It means so much to us. Your support of what we're doing allows us to pay Jason. You still haven't gotten paid, but you will. And it allows us also to do what we do. Without you, I've never been a part of a community like this.
After speaking with someone that runs radio stations yesterday, they take notice too.
What do you mean?
Radio stations. She notices, the woman I talked to yesterday.
The community?
Notices that people talk to each other. And radio stations take notice of this kind of stuff too, which
people
makes us selling it much easier,
There are multiple reasons for us to have merchandise. I think one is that we can support American-made businesses.
One.
Another is that we can totally piss off the left,
that's my favorite.
Which is big. But three, I think it's an outward expression of community. And four, because of you, we're able to uplink our show on a satellite that costs thousands upon thousands of dollars a month.
Wrap it up.
Without you, we don't have this. Are you tired of the same old places? To have a birthday party, to celebrate something monumental, to go and enjoy an event, an occasion? Well, if you are, you need to check out the Battlegrounds here in southwestern Pennsylvania. It is amazing. Your private party can feature a wide variety of activities, including Nerf, airsoft, bow tag, rivals, slingshots, and so much more. In fact, no matter what you choose, every party comes with 2.5 hours of fun. They provide all the equipment, the safety stuff, the referees, the attendants who will watch over your stuff and help you have a blast. Get in touch with our friends, the Krupps, who own the Battlegrounds. Go to the BattlegroundsPA.com. TheBattlegroundsPA.com. Call right now, 412-530-2192. And remember, don't just play the game, be the game at the Battlegrounds. Before I give you more just ugly, out of touch, triggered leftist outrage, I want to play for you Winsome Sears, the new Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, African-American woman Marine. There's a great picture of her online right now holding an AR, I think it is. She's just tough. And the people of Virginia spoke last night. And I want you to hear, again, the dichotomy, that juxtaposition of the Josh Shapiros and the Terry McAuliffes and the anger in the media, and then the honesty and the joy and the reality of the flip side. This is the new Lieutenant Governor-elect, Winsome Sears.
There are some who want to divide us, and we must not let that happen. They would like us to believe we are back in 1963 when my father came. We can live where we want. We can eat where we want. We own the water fountains. We have had a black president elected not once but twice, and here I am living proof.
You know, those of you listening on the radio, I want to paint a mental picture for you of what that looks like. So the lieutenant governor-elect is standing there. She's wearing a beautiful red dress, and she's standing in front of a Youngkin sign, celebrating this really cataclysmic moment, not just in her life, but in her commonwealths. And behind her must be her husband. This is a very handsome man. He has white hair, and he has a neatly trimmed white kind of goatee-ish beard. And there is a young lady next to them, which I will presume, though I don't know, is their daughter. I'll just say that's what it appears. There is a seriousness on their faces. You can tell they are celebrating, but there is a reverence. There is an emotion that is indescribable on their faces. It is drinking in the moment and understanding what that means. Winsome Sears isn't a quota. She's not an empty promise. I'm going to have a vice president who's African American and female. Or I'm United Airlines and 50% of all of our future pilots are going to be minorities. This is an accomplished woman who served her country and is probably pretty badass. And the family emotion behind her, they're not raucous, they're not getting drunk, they're not jumping up and down and carrying on. They are standing there in front of a crowd, knowing that they're taking a mental photograph of a moment that is history making. Now, you won't hear your mainstream media discussing the history made with her election. They won't talk about the new attorney general in Virginia who's Cuban American. See, because race is only important if it fits their particular narrative. If they can push something that has to do with breaking through their own ceiling of white privilege. Why can't we just celebrate victory? Why can't we just celebrate people who've worked hard, who are deserving of the service, of the honor of spending the next several years of their lives working tirelessly to fulfill what they've promised? I was particularly struck by that last night as I was watching. There's a level of decorum and depth, I think. Because after all, if you're a Black Republican, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a sellout. You're Larry Elder, who deserves to be egged. You're the black face of white supremacy. That's how despicable it is. No matter that you served your country, no matter that you raised a family, no matter that you're a good person, if you've got that R next to your name, you're not worth it. Lots more to talk about. We're just getting started. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program. Don't go anywhere.
once again, thank you guys for supporting the show and ordering shirts and tumblers and T-shirts and sweatshirts. I personally can't wait for I got an I don't know.
Yeah, I changed that. It's just
Truly do appreciate it. It does let us do a lot of things. And like I said, I know I've said this before in the stream, but I never realized how expensive things in this business were until we started doing it ourselves. And it was a gut punch, so to speak, when you hear how much things cost. Because it's like being a kid almost at home when you work for a company. You don't pay the electric bill, so you're not worried about. I always wondered why my dad would always say, "Don't mess with the thermostat," or "Turn the lights off when you're not in the room." I always wondered until I actually got my first gas bill and my first electric bill, and I said to Kate, "Do we need every light in the house on?" We're not. And I think
I thought about that this morning. I thought about that this morning when we've had these big fans, industrial fans in the basement, because the new drywall was just mudded and all that. So it has to dry overnight. It has to dry for days. And I'm sitting in the kitchen hearing the buzz downstairs going, what the hell is this costing us? Oh my God. I mean, honest to God, that's why those progressive ads or whatever those ads are so funny, where they're like, well, are we air conditioning the whole neighborhood?
Well,
How many times have you said that? Yeah. Right. Did you see the ad? What is the company? I keep forgetting. It's the guy with the mustache. He's trying to get people not to act like their parents. And I forget what the company is, but he's in the parking lot and they're parking at is it Progressive? They're parking at a football game and they got to park far away. And the one guy's like, "This is going to create easy access out." He's like, "We're not talking about parking." Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious. Joe laughed out loud.
The guy buys a shirt. He's like, "Does that shirt look familiar?" And the guy's actually wearing. He's like, "Yeah, but I'll have a second one." Do we need to be told to live, laugh, and love? Oh, yes. No,
Throws
we
it
don't.
in the garbage. That's hilarious. That's right. That's hilarious. I love it. For the person who just said that Facebook keeps interrupting the news feed, that's why we have our app. It's the Wendy Bell Radio Network app. All you have to do is find that little A in the white A in the blue bubble on your screen on your phone and download the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's free. It's easy to use. And we're trying to be super innovative because, look, Facebook and other companies don't like conservative values. And we want to give you options. So we've been working hard. Jason's worked his tail off on it. And it's a service to you, so please get it.
And hopefully we're going to have, I know a lot of people like on Facebook that they can chat and talk with each other. We get it, love it. But hopefully within the next month, we're going to have a chat up and running on that stream. So it's going to be totally independent from, and you guys will be able to talk on the stream.
I'm trying to build it right into the video. So it takes a little bit of time.
Do I need to say it? Get moving.
Yeah, that happened. I know.
Yeah.
All right, so we still have Van. And that number 7 of Nicole Wallace is just so despicable. I think we already hit 12, didn't we? CRT not being taught?
That's 10, but.
Well, I have 10 and 12. 10 is the montage. I already used that.
Oh, yes. We have not used 12.
Okay.
We've not used 7 either. Or 8.
Yeah, but we're gonna knock those out here because I like those. And what was the other one that you had? You had other sound. We had the Fauci that I'm interested in, and then you pulled something too.
Oh, I pulled the David Axelrod.
That's right. We'll see if that's applicable somewhere. I'm going to the gym.
I will bring up if we can stream cast from the app. I don't know. Jason will have to maybe look into that if we can. Streamcast. Can I make it go from my phone to my TV? But I believe that's all if your TV's capable.
Wow, that's a really big us
It's
on a TV.
It'll be. I could probably build it into the new app rollout.
Okay. Yeah. That is a lot of Wendy Bell. Especially when you go and fix something and you get real close to the camera. Can you imagine? I have a 55-inch TV. I'd be like, oh. I'd probably get my joystick up and try to shoot you.
Wow. Okay. Good to know.
I gotta see when your kids are on playing Call of Duty.
I had my last parent-teacher conference yesterday.
Which kid's failing?
Please. They'd have to deal with a little bit of this.
Throw them down the stairs.
Actually, no, they would be
your
ravaged.
HR at home, too.
They would be ravaged alive. I don't need to say anything.
Oh, that's that motherly guilt. Hold on.
No.
Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
My, do you make the Wendy Bell radio program fly on by already into our third busy broadcasting hour. So thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you and your time more than you know. All right, so I can't let them go. You have to be held accountable if you're going to lie to people. I'm always amazed by the lack of fact-checking on the left. Isn't it so interesting? They can just lie. Nicole Wallace, there is no CRT. And then, of course, always circling back to January 6th. Somebody died. People died. It was deadly. Glenn Youngkin flying insurrectionist flags at his rally. There's a side of me that's compassionate. That feels for people because there ought to be therapy for you, right? There's got to be a treatment for you because you're literally deranged. I want you to hear Nicole Wallace last night as the drip, drip, drip of Glenn Youngkin's victory started to take more of a hold on their psyches. Oh my gosh, they couldn't believe it. Number 7, this is what they think, not only of Glenn Youngkin on the left, but of all of you who aren't in their camp. Listen.
What Youngkin has done is he put it in a disguise.
Yes.
He gave it a fake name. Mm-hmm. And his candidacy is wrapped in 2 big lies. One is this half-truth. I flew an insurrection flag at my rally, but Trump's at arm's length. There's Trump.
Yeah.
And the second big lie is that I watched his rally last Saturday. His campaign promise, and he was making this promise in Loudoun and in Alexandria, is on day 1. I'm going to ban critical race theory. That is like us banning the ghosts.
Right.
There are no ghosts.
That's right.
So we can say, you know what, 7 p.m. we're banning the ghosts. There are no ghosts. There isn't critical race theory taught. But what
exactly.
Well, we've already debunked that appropriately. We don't have to walk back through that. But there in that video, you have a triple play of absolute abject failure. Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid, race baiter in chief, next to whatever the Tiffany Cross chiclet is. And then you've got Nicole Wallace. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go. Mm-hmm. I feel for them because there is nothing progressive if we think about the genesis of that word. There's nothing moving forward in this administration or the people who support it. There's nothing good for you. It's all mired in garbage and accusations and hate. However, I think this from Van Jones. Van Jones is a very interesting character on CNN. He has moments of clarity, almost like moments of sobriety when he stepped away from the chalice of insane, right? And he's sobered up a little bit and he's honest. I've seen him cry on television and I believed his tears. I don't think he was lying. I think he was moved when he was crying. And then there are times when he's just like, well, what the hell? I'm just going to go with the flow and be a jerk. This is one of those times. Cut number 8, go.
First of all, it's not over. You do have the grassroots folks out there fighting for this on the Democratic Party side. The stakes are high. When this election is over in Virginia, we will know. Have we seen the emergence of the Delta variant of Trumpism? The Delta variant of Trumpism. In other words, Youngkin, same disease, but spreads a lot faster and can get a lot more places.
So, as offensive as that is, equating people who love America to a virus, I want you to carefully imagine that. Dissect what he just said. Again, completely afflicted by Donald Trump. He is consumed. They all are consumed by this individual. I don't understand it. Do you guys understand it? I don't get it. It's got to be some, I don't know, is it a character flaw? Is it a weakness? What is it? All of these people who are clone troopers, right? They've got the homing chip activated. They've got the directions intact. They're ready to go marching. But there's this chink in the armor. There's a problem. There's a weakness, the fatal flaw. It's like on the Death Star where Luke Skywalker has to time it just right, and then he's got to go in and then the whole Death Star blows up. It's like that's that one weakness, which to me means it's absolutely necessary that Donald Trump runs in 2024. I have to see that happen. But to equate people who love America and putting them all in this one basket. You guys are so lost on the left. You're so lost in the media. You're missing the picture. And I heard it expressed twice in the last week. When was the last time you've driven a great distance across your state or across the country? And whatever road you were on, whether it was a winding offshoot of the turnpike or it was the way overtaxed turnpike here in Pennsylvania, whatever it is, you see the unfolding landscape of America. And Mike Collins, who's running in the 10th Congressional District in Georgia, was on the program last week. He's a trucker. He ran for Congress and came up short in 2014. He's doing it again. He owns a trucking business with more than 100 employees. Long haulers, they see this country. He says, I know America. I know the exquisite tapestry that is America. From the wheat blowing in the fields as you drive by, to the Rocky Mountains and the soft white snow on top of the caps, to the plain states and the desert, to the people in all of these areas. I heard it again Friday during Good News, talking to a gentleman who is that one person that I talk about so commonly, who decided to leave his job as a parking lot attendant, drive across the country, and he'd never been west of the Mississippi, to end up in Washington State, sell his car, and start walking across America holding an American flag. March of Liberty. And he said to me, he's met the finest people. He's seen the most beautiful sights. He's walked in the mountains where mountain lions are. He's walked in the valleys through every single possible season you can imagine. And this story is the same. The goodness, the kindness of strangers. Offering him money, a hot meal, a place to spend the night, a shower. How do they not see this? The people who try to tell us every single day on the news who we are and what all the problems are, and how the only way to make it better is to spend all this money that will never change a damn thing. Because fundamentally, these people stopped loving America. That can be the only answer I have. When you love everything that this place represents, you feel the way the rest of us do when the borders are open. And people who ought not be here stream in as though they're entitled. That angers you. When you love America, you stand up and you fight against anybody who threatens your family and your children. When you love America, the foundation is freedom. And you understand that any government entity or individual who believes that they have the power to tell you how to live your life, they fight back against that if they love America. And yet these media figures try so hard to tell us that those of us who do love America, who wrap ourselves in the flag, who are emotional when we say the Pledge of Allegiance, who are moved by the Star-Spangled Banner. And when those military jets fly overhead at a sporting event, it puts a lump in your throat. Who don't think Veterans Day is just a day off of work or a day that we don't get our mail. It's a day to honor the men and women who've done something that's not even definable. That's America. That's freedom. That's every day for the vast majority of us. And that's what you don't hear as the anger and the vitriol of the left bubbles out on any spectrum. No wonder you've stopped paying attention and found your way home here. My friend Bruce Freshwater, speaking of veterans, is a veteran, and he decided to create a company many decades ago where he was going to surround himself with some of the smartest people out there. People who know coding, computer coding, programming, engineering, software development, digital marketing, all of the bells and whistles that go together into creating the package of your small business website. You want the smartest people on your team to manage that so that the people who find you, who are possibly going to be customers of yours, relationships of yours, aren't disappointed, that they see the best. You need that team, and that team is Sierra Experts. Call them today. No matter where you live, they can help you. They can work in your budget. You'll love Bruce. Tell him we sent you. 412-379-8333. 412-379-8333. Check out their testimonials at sierraexperts.com. You know, we do have a little bit of fun on this show, and it's coming up. It's the lib of the week. It is just, let's just say, scrumptious. You're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Or as Kate likes to call it, the low of the week, lib of the week.
She calls it the what?
Low. Lib of
Oh,
the week.
that's smart.
This one is extremely
intriguing. This is Brock's baby. In fact, you should probably set these up.
No. This is I just don't understand how people lose their mind about
whatever.
Yeah, right. Like someone would get triggered by something one of us would say and take offense to it or tell us that they don't like us. Like, if you think I'm going to get triggered over that, if I say now I'm just grabbing a name, Bill, I don't like you. Does Bill care? I'm assuming Bill's a fan of the show, so he's not out of his mind. But, like, why would he care? Bill and I have never met. You know, like, and I don't understand how liberals can everything bothers them. How do you get through the day? You know, I always say I want Sinatra's mentality. I want Murphy's mentality, right? They are just happy to be in the present. When you come home, Murphy's just happy to see you.
Well, if you come home and you're anywhere near me, he flies right by me and goes to you. So that's always nice.
But I mean, he just, and same with they live for their treats. To go outside and play, and for you to come home. Like, God bless dogs. Like, I have a lot more on my mind, but
I go to my friend Mary Beth's house. She's a personal trainer, and I do it a couple times a week. And she has Chihuahuas. So she's got 3 cute little Chihuahuas, and they're liberals. There's like a little bed there that they sit in, like a little cushion, and she covers them up with this soft, like woozy blanket. And I swear, as I'm sitting there and she's killing me, I want to be those dogs every single day.
Those dogs are probably liberal.
To just snuggle up and just be wrapped up in something warm with my brothers and sisters or whatever. Just be like, oh.
Chihuahuas get upset about a lot of things. So
they're not like that.
No, then maybe they're just judging you.
Wow.
That's probably what they're doing.
Wow. Mary Beth is going to be very disappointed in you today.
No, I'm just saying those dogs are judging you, not.
That's very triggered of you. Right? Now, in our efforts to be completely transparent, I will tell you that Brock had to join TikTok for this.
I will say this. Totally worth it.
Yeah, there is some really fantastic stuff on TikTok. It makes you feel better that you're not totally crazy because there's so many people who are. So we started paying attention to this particular channel on TikTok. I don't even know if they call them channels there, but a profile there called Libs of TikTok.
Which is also on Twitter.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay, good to know, because I'm not on TikTok.
Yes.
But my son Ryan is, and so he'll share stuff with me that he thinks is hilarious too. So anyway, Libs of TikTok, back in, earlier this year, we would do a lot of teachers who were triggered by this or that. The one teacher who took her American flag off and put a gay flag on and made her students stand up and say the pledge to the gay flag and thought that was really funny until she got fired. And then all these other people. So we decided it is okay to have fun with people's melting down. You got to be able to laugh at yourself every now and again. So we decided every Wednesday, we're going to have the Lib of the Week, right? Thursdays, Ask Us Anything. So remember, think about that because we'll have a call segment about that tomorrow. Friday, good news, bad jokes. You know that. The last segment of the show, give you a little respite from the browbeating news. Today, though, and we're going to have our friend work on now it's your Lib of the Week. I think like a game show or something like that. So you've got 2 videos. Do you want to let them know what's going on here?
This first one is this girl who's just sitting there and having a conversation with her phone.
Yes.
About one Donald Trump.
She's got her elbow, for those of you simply listening on the radio, not watching on the live stream on the Wendy Bell Radio Network app. She's a beautiful young thing. Her eyebrows are a little weird,
And
but
obviously
she's young. She's way too young to be this troubled by anything.
in need of help.
She's got beautiful skin. She's kind of laying like on a pillow, and she's looking kind of like, oh, I'm just going to talk to my phone. And so this is what she says.
I wish Donald Trump didn't exist. I don't mean I want him to be unalived. I just wish that he had never existed to begin with. Because if Trump didn't exist, then people couldn't idolize Trump. And if people couldn't idolize Trump, I could still be around some of my family members.
That's fantastic.
Goodness. Not that he was unalive. I'm like, that's called dead. Like, literally, get over it, sweetheart. Go get a job, save up some money, and move out of your parents' house. It's okay. However, this
one, as funny as the first one was,
you guys, and those of you who are listening on radio, on the flip side, I will describe what this individual is all about. Okay,
just know, and I'm gonna little teaser beezers you like to call to the radio audience.
Yes.
Just know the person speaking has facial hair.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I have a question. What is a woman? It should be a very simple question to answer. What is a woman? Until that can be answered, how could we have a discussion about trans issues, biological women issues, things like that? Can anybody just give a definition of what a woman is?
I'd like to answer that.
Yeah, I think we
not that person.
Yeah, it's not you. It's not you. So this is a gentleman wearing like old 50s style glasses, the ones that kind of curl up on the ends, and they're red with bright red lipstick and facial hair, like a goatee. And
he wasn't even groomed facial hair. It was just
it
like
was
scraggly.
Kind of haphazard with kind of blondish, scraggly hair, wanting to know the definition of a woman. Well, if we were to look at biology down at the chromosomal level, young man, I would just say that I have an X chromosome, an X that you don't have. And your Y chromosome prevents me from having some things on my body that you have. Okay, so that should be pretty clear. There you go.
That may be Victoria's Secret.
You know what? You never know what's going on there. Every now and again, you got to have a laugh because, first of all, everybody takes themselves way too flippin' seriously. And these people who cannot let go of Donald Trump, please do yourself a favor. It was like after he won the election. Do you remember the cutaways of all the cameras of people standing in the crowd at Hillary's thing? And they were like, I personally know people in my family who didn't go to work for days. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You're holding out on me.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. All right. When we come back, well, lots more to talk about in the final half hour of the Wendy Bell Radio program. Don't go anywhere. You having party?
Yes.
All right. I'll tell you what I'm hoping to do on the flip side.
Well, I want to hear about the family member.
No, that's private. How are the tumblers?
Good.
Still a couple?
What's that?
Do we still have a couple?
Yeah. I talked to the vendor. We're gonna do a few on back order too. So we're gonna bump the number a little bit. Wow. I know. Beautiful thing.
People are amazing.
They really are.
All right. Now, I know that you had, and just for the people on the stream who pay attention to the program, you had long ago said to Brock and me, you guys need to have something with your name on it. You need to do some merchandising. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what. And you said, I think it'll be successful. Did you think it was going to be this successful?
I figured it would be half of what it's been.
Really?
Yeah. But as you know, you had the charity situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we never explored it until realistically I was in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So I think October 7th is when we started this. Pretty sure. So
not even a month.
Not even a month.
Jeez.
Pretty sure either the 6th or the 7th was the first time we linked the merch.
Wow. Wow.
I will not take your seat, sir.
Can we run out with that short clip of Sabato?
Wait, I wanted to hear what the wow was about. Guy goes to the bathroom for 1 second.
Wow.
Can't you hear him out of breath? I run there and run back.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the... and by the way, of all the wow that we give out, that
clip
guy?
Of that guy? Yeah.
I wonder if it's single. Or if it's taken.
Why, are you looking?
Oh, I saw the screen.
Or wait,
wow.
One of us is married.
I feel like it's Friday.
And one of us
yeah
is sitting over here by themselves.
We were just talking that I was asking about the tumblers, and he said, I asked him, has this, you had long said, Jason, that we should be doing this, and we were both like, man. And then he said, really, I think it could be quite successful and people would enjoy it. And then I asked him, is this what you expected? And he's like, I was expecting about half of this. So that was huge.
Yeah, it's become a full-time job for him.
I know. So can we come out with it's a bloodbath? After I'll say, welcome back, everybody. It's a bloodbath. Do you see that one? And then
yes,
I do want to talk about Joe Biden and I got the 11 and 13 because I think we just.
I think if you're going to do anything, you say when you come out, say something like, "Here, let's sum it up. Let's sum last night.
How about we come out and I'll set up number 11.
Okay.
And then we'll go right to, and then I'll say, when in reality, it's.
Yeah, because it's video and it needs that second.
Yes. I got you. Oh, do you also have the Let's Go Brandon at the Youngkin rally? Maybe I'll wait for that at the very bottom. I like that. It was exciting.
Maybe we end the show every day with that.
Let's Go Brandon.
It's hard when you do Let's Go Brandon because, when do you stop?
Do you ever?
I know, but I mean, because you get in that rhythm. Let's go, Brandon. It's hard to stop. Is it
who wants to be the one person? I think you've got to get it 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
You just got to drill it.
Which just doesn't translate to radio.
No, it doesn't. These are the crosses we have to bear. I know.
Starting to worry about Jason.
Why?
I think he needs some sleep because he's looking at that girl asking if she were single.
Pretty sure that's not what he was getting at, but I'll be the voice of reason in this fake.
Wow, Wendy Bell, the voice of reason.
What I was actually getting at is, a person like that makes their life so much harder, but then they're giving everything for free. It doesn't make any sense. Literally, they can't go anywhere and be taken seriously, but the government will just hand them everything.
Well, I think that's what Dave Chappelle was saying in his special. He said he was envious of the LGBTQ, basically the trans community that's been in a year, been able to move the needle so far. And the Black community has, they've suffered, in untoward ways.
Let's be honest. It's social media.
Sure.
This would not have happened if it was not for social media.
I don't disagree with you.
The gay community fought for how many years
For gay marriage and
for
all
gay
of that.
marriage, and
Which the Democrat Party was against and voted against.
Obama was against it, Hillary against it,
all of
until
them,
they needed it, and then they were.
Then they're like,
all
wait a
for
minute,
it.
black voters aren't falling for our shtick anymore.
Yeah.
We got to get a new group.
Meanwhile, the true people who are centrist, who believe in just you do you and I do me, like
Don't
me,
care.
go, I don't care who you marry.
Yeah, I
50% of you probably gonna end up divorced. So what the hell?
I'd rather you be happy.
Right.
Be happy. Have joy.
Just because I don't scream it from the mountaintops doesn't mean I don't think it should happen, you know?
I got some good curls to play with today.
I'm hungry. Why don't you take me to lunch?
No.
Here we go. Wow, that was a quick one.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, Joe Biden, he had a little foreshadowing. I think it's important for you to hear. He had a moment, his magic 8-ball moment, where he shook it up and he looked inside and he felt really comfortable being able to say cut number 11.
We're going to win. I think we're going to win in Virginia.
I'm gonna win. I mean, honestly, can we have an honest and open discussion about who's actually leading this country? Because after all, last night was...
It's a bloodbath.
Oh, yeah, a bloodbath. In fact, one more time, what was that?
It's a bloodbath.
That's what I thought. You guys, so Joe Biden is at this UN summit, climate summit. We've got Greta Thunberg wearing her, her crown of thorns. Stop driving SUVs. Meanwhile, 400 of these morons flew on their private jets. Nothing says we're down with limiting your carbon footprint like that, right? And then on top of that, Joe Biden needs an entourage of more than 80 vehicles to drive him all over creation. Are you kidding me?
Did you hear Jeff Bezos say that from up in space, the atmosphere looks very thin?
Wow.
Yeah,
he
thanks.
was in his own Amazon capsule, of course. So he was able to have that vantage point. And then there's Prince Charles, who's never worked a day in his life, telling everybody, except China, the biggest polluter on planet Earth, don't drive so much. Okay, great. I want you guys to hear this, though. This is cut number 13. This is the leader of the free world. This was the position, the president of the United States, for up until, last November, was the most powerful person on the planet. This is Joe Biden talking about supply chain problems and inflation and all of that and its impact on the world and on climate. I want you to hear and then tell me what on earth this man is saying.
Because of supply chain consequences, because of the environment and all that's occurred, the way it's in fact imploded in the near term. But as I said to you earlier, and I really mean it, I think it presents a gigantic opportunity, an opportunity to, in a sense, press the restart button and move in a direction that I think the vast majority of countries, and look, I'm sure you interview other world leaders that are here, the vast majority think this is an opportunity. They're not quite sure exactly what to do, exactly how to do it. Not that I have all the answers, I'm not implying that, but they know that. They know that growth rests in dealing with the economy in a way that affects the whole notion of what we're going to do about climate change. And it's a gigantic opportunity. Okay.
What? I don't even know how to go into that. It hurts my head because I'm listening and I'm like, I don't understand what you just said because you didn't say anything. This is why I call it verbal spaghetti. It absolutely goes nowhere. And this is Joe Biden talking about his radical progressive ideas that I guarantee you he doesn't even have the foggiest notion about. You know, and then he was going to meet with the Pope, right? Nobody got to see that. Did he ever have communion? Did he get communion from the Pope? I don't know.
They said the Pope said he can have communion.
He can. Oh, goody. Goody, goody, goody. I've often wondered that. This is one of those questions that baffles me. How can people who love God, who love the church, who go to church, take communion and be for abortion? How does that happen? Why should Joe Biden or any Democrat who believes in abortion be allowed to have the body and the blood of Christ? Now, I don't take this conversation lightly. You know, I was married 23 years ago to a cradle Catholic. I was born wishy-washy Christian, baptized by my Uncle Wendell in the backyard pool in California, literally dunked. Hello, yay, hooray, you're baptized. Okay. That was the extent of my religious background. And then I think, like most people, you hit some very tumultuous times in your life and you look to God. Well, I better figure out what's going on with this. So I read the Bible and I started getting interested. But I didn't belong anywhere. I wasn't Catholic, so I didn't understand that. I couldn't really go there. I don't even know how to define Episcopal or Presbyterian. What's the difference? And so I just didn't go until I met my husband. And in 5 months, we were engaged. A year, we were married. And we weren't married in the Catholic Church because I wasn't Catholic. And I wasn't one of those people who was like, well, if you go through RCIA, the initiation rite among adults, you can become Catholic and you can get married in the cathedral or in whatever. That wasn't right for me. I didn't want to get married in a Catholic church because it looked good, because it was pretty to have the cathedral in pictures. And I draw this analogy because we have like this crisis in this country where you've got like the phony baloney exterior, and then you have those who are like, wow, this is meaningful in this country. And it's not just about religion, it's about anything. It's the difference between how Glenn Youngkin sounded in his joyous speech versus how Josh Shapiro, the Attorney General of Pennsylvania running for governor here, had some canned, caged meh. I'm reading it. I don't really feel it. I remember going through RCIA. I remember telling my husband, I'm ready. We'd been married for 10 years. I'd been going to church regularly, to his church that he grew up at, where our children go to school. And I knew all the words. I memorized all of them. I didn't necessarily understand the meaning, but I couldn't get up and do that final thing. I was there more regularly than the Catholics. It meant something to me. And when I finally went through RCIA, and it was a year. It was every Tuesday night for an hour or 2 hours. I remember my biggest concern was standing up in front of the congregation, in front of the parish, which you have to do, and basically being introduced as candidates, new candidates of the church. I was so moved. I was mortified. There was one scene on Easter Sunday where the 5 of us had to be wearing white gowns and kneeling in front of the priest. And he said something about all of us. I was bawling, and not an ugly cry, not a, but an uncontrollable, moving, I've been waiting for this. I understand what it means now. This has meaning to me. And I was absolutely distraught when we had to turn around and look at I could not raise my head because I was absolutely lost in tears. Look, this reason I'm sharing this story with you really has very little to do with religion and has everything to do with feeling. You know, those of us who are so tired of being demonized have a feeling for this country. It beats in our hearts. We breathe it in. It isn't some fly-by-night emotion. It isn't some worship of a singular individual. And trying to belittle us and put us into that box not only is wrong, it's really offensive. And it makes you look stupid. Because we see you. You're the people standing at the altar doing whatever you're doing because it's what you're supposed to do. Not because you're moved to be there. Not because you're drinking in the words of your priest. That you're connecting the dots from the missalette and the homily. Not because you feel that tasteless wafer on your tongue and for a moment you imagine in that moment your connection with Jesus Christ. We've strayed so far. This movement I talk about, this red wave, not red wave, but red flood, it's real. It's because we got to get back to that. We've got to get back to celebrating the family, the community, not this division of us versus them, or black versus white, or red versus blue, or any other stupid stuff that's so wholly irrelevant. We are self-destructing while places on this planet are passing us by. And the people in charge not only are complacent, they're complicit, which is even worse. So there's a reason we choose these ridiculous sound bites for you. This is what they want people to hear. I take great solace in what happened last night in this country. I take great comfort in knowing that people are awakened. And they want America back. And they know that they're just not a number. Not just some body to tax, a stepping stone for some greedy politician, but they are the heartbeat. You are that heartbeat. Which means when we hear these stories and you see how triggered people get, yes, I'll laugh a little bit, but more than that, I want to say a prayer and say, you know what? I hope you find some peace, because this path you're on, it's not good for you. It's not good for us. What is good is taking charge of your health and your wellness and your fitness and your body. There's something that's energizing when you fit into your clothing the way you want to. It gives you a little zhuzh, right? A little spirit, little energy. You can get that at Morgane's Fitness, 4 locations in Pennsylvania, Somerset and Cambria counties. And Kelly Morgan is a veteran. She owns the business. She and her family do something very unique. Yes, a gym, they all have the same sort of things. It's the people inside that make it different. It's how they treat you. It's the one-on-one attention to detail. It's the certified personal trainers, the body composition analysis. It's the child care. It's the fitness classes. It's the membership options. They're open 24/7. It's about you. You. That is Morgane's Fitness. If it's time for you to finally put you first, get in touch. MORGAINZ Fitness. Morganesfitness.com. All right, when we come back, we're going to wrap this up. Interesting words from David Axelrod, of all places. And a little, smile a la Let's Go, Brandon. Don't miss it. Coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
JD,
I literally cannot believe that San Francisco is going this far to start the vaccines and mandating them in kids. If they think that the red flood yesterday was something, you want to start fiddling with kids in that regard. If California doesn't stand up and push back, then anybody who's a freaking common sense person there needs to get the heck out. Unbelievable. I love that I can hear you breathing. You do this, you hold your breath, and then you go. I can criticize everything.
I was just going to
about
say,
them.
are you seriously criticizing the way I breathe?
Absolutely. You feel so liberating. You know, if I can just chip away at you.
Wow. Poor Joe. That's all I'm going to say is poor Joe.
Oh, that sweet man.
I feel for him.
No, you don't.
No, I really do.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Here we go. Poor Joe.
Sure.
So, wow.
Lucky Joe. I like talking to you at the end of the show about my friend John D'Onofrio. He's the lawyer I trust with some of life's trickiest decisions. I mean, it's never an easy thing to find somebody to sit down with and give them all your financial details and say, okay, help me figure out where all my money and my wealth goes after I pass away, right? But it's that conversation that ultimately gives you the peace of mind. And John D'Onofrio is the estate lawyer I trust. He's got 40 years of experience. This guy knows the ins and outs of the law and can help you avoid punishing taxes. You've paid enough on your money. You should be able to pass as much of it onto your loved ones as possible. Call John today. Get that peace of mind. 412-928-2068. 412-928-2068. Attorney John D'Onofrio. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this seeping of red voting that has crept into the basement, the bowels of our country, and started to flood the reality into so many places. It seemed to have lost their minds. You've got momentum like never before, I think. At least not in my lifetime. I'd be interested to see what happens with these members of Congress, because they're going to have to distance themselves from Joe Biden. It's clear. And when I share this with you, wait until you see this. Hold on. I had this for a reason, and I put it aside. Okay. This is pretty amazing, you guys. Joe Biden's net approval rating has cratered in 9 states that the Cook Political Report is claiming will have the most competitive Senate races, according to analysis from the Morning Consult. When you hear me name these names, listen for the swing states. This just out this morning. Things not looking good for Democrats in battleground states: Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Nevada, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Biden's net approval plummeting in these states from the first quarter of this year to this current third quarter. How about this? In Arizona, Biden went from a first quarter approval of +8 to -9. A 17-point swing in 9 to 10 months. In Florida, went from 0.8 down to -9. Again, 17-point drop. Georgia was up with +11 net approval in the first quarter, down now -3. That's a 14-point drop. You guys, how do you spin this? How do you save this? You distance yourself. You try to save your own back seat, your own House, Senate seat, and you put your arm up. You do a Heisman to Joe Biden. Watch it happen with the bills that he wants to get passed. Nevada, from +9 down to -3, a 12-point swing. New Hampshire, up 7 to down 2, 9 points. 12 points in North Carolina, from +7 net approval in the first quarter to a -5 in the third quarter. Ohio, 12-point drop. Pennsylvania, 14 points, and the same in Wisconsin. That red flood might just be the red tsunami. I want you to hear David Axelrod, former Obama advisor, now on one of the shows, CNN. This is what he has to say. His assessment, looking at last night in Virginia and in other states where Republicans took control. Listen to his analysis.
If you're a Democrat sitting on Capitol Hill and you're from one of these swing districts in suburban areas, are you rethinking tonight your vote on this reconciliation package? Are you thinking maybe it's best we shouldn't do it? If I were sitting in the White House, if I were sitting in the leadership of in the Democratic councils in the Congress, I'd be worried about that. I'd be trying to firm these people up.
You know what's beautiful about our founding fathers? They saw this. They created co-equal branches of government and gave the voice to we the people. Our voices, as supposedly illustrated and echoed in our state legislatures, which should be far more powerful than the federal government. And what we saw last night was the swinging of the balance back to where it should be. And it'll be very interesting to see the Democrats distance themselves from Joe Biden, distance themselves from things that we, the people, have spoken up against. We are not for pushing more than $29 trillion in national debt onto our children. We're not for a crazy climate policy that gives $2 billion to some ridiculous thing called tree equity. And as much as your sanctimonious do-goodery on the left feels good to you, we can't afford it. I want you guys to hear, this is at the Glenn Youngkin rally last night. It looked like a Trump rally. Folks lined up hours in advance in the cold chill of Virginia, ready for him to come on stage, not knowing if he had won or not, but feeling pretty darn good about it. And this is what was echoed across the land.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
I love it. It's a terribly rude, awful thing that the media says we on the right like to say, in lieu of saying something a little dirtier and less family friendly. Well, you better get used to it, because we're going to be doing this for a while until actually justice is served, until actually the truth about November 3rd, 2020 comes out, until we can count again on the legitimacy, the accuracy of our elections, until we have faith in our leadership again. Until that happens, ladies and gentlemen, Let's Go Brandon is going to be a thing. And it's going to be a glorious thing, because it unites those of us who still believe in fairness, in freedom, and in the United States of America. As always, we are so grateful that you're along for this ride with us every day, 3 hours a day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Remember, it's Ask Us Anything. Think of your questions. Peace.